Hey everyone, Krista here, and if you've ever driven by that upside down building on I-Drive and ever wondered what in the world is inside this building, or even if it's worth visiting, well today I'm going to go over everything that you can experience at Wonderworks on International Drive to help you decide if it will be worth it for you and your family. So let's get into it. Wonderworks, otherwise known as that upside-down building on I-Drive, is an indoor amusement park for the mind with over 35,000 square feet of edutainment. This attraction combines education and entertainment with more than 100 hands-on exhibits that charge the mind and spark the imagination. We visited this past weekend on Sunday morning, and the cost of admission is $34.99 for adults and $25.99 for kids, and they are open every day of the year from 9 a.m. to midnight. The story behind this building is that it once was a top secret laboratory that was located on the Bermuda Triangle, and an experiment went awry and lifted the entire laboratory, carrying it to International Drive in Orlando, Florida, where it landed upside down, and all of the exhibits remained intact and available for guests to enjoy. Within the building, there are several different zones to explore, and when you first walk into the building, you'll come across this really cool guy, Theo the robot, that will give you an overview of some of the attractions within the building. After you grab your ticket, you'll make your way up the stairs and through the first attraction that you'll come across, which is this inversion tunnel. And they always get me, so excuse the wobbly nature as I walk through this tunnel on this walkway. The first zone that you'll walk into is the extreme weather zone that includes the Earthquake Cafe, where you can relive the quake of 1989 with a 5.3 magnitude earthquake, as well as the aftershocks. Up next is the Hurricane Shack. If you ever wanted to know what it felt like to be outside in a Category 1 force hurricane, then you'll want to step into here. And oh yeah, my hair is gonna look awesome after this. There are also these Tesla coils where you can place your arm into the sleeve and get connected to 100,000 volts of electricity, which I actually was a little too nervous to do, so I made my husband do it instead. It looked really cool, but but yeah, no, I'm not doing that. It did look really cool. There was also this ice challenge where you can experience 28-degree water and see how long you last. I was actually surprised at how long I was able to do this, especially with how quickly I get cold most of the time. And by the way, if you are finding this information helpful, I would love it if you could hit that like button and subscribe if you would like to find more ideas like this to do in my beautiful state of Florida. On the same floor in Wonderworks was also the Wonders of the World, where you can experience this fun 360-degree view of some of the most iconic places in the world. There was also water-defying gravity, which uses strobe lights to create this optical illusion of the water either running backwards or even stopping in its tracks. And of course, the flash of the strobe was affecting the frame rate of my camera here, but you get the gist. Heading up the flight of stairs after the weather zone, you'll walk into the physical challenge zone, where you'll get to challenge yourself to jump, pull, tap, or even lay to see if you're up for it. A few of my favorites here, of course, was the bubble lab, where you can attempt to create several different size bubbles, and even some big enough to fit into. I obviously was not expecting this one to work, especially after how many takes it took me to get this right. Another exhibit that I was a little too afraid to try was this bed of nails, where you can experience what it would feel like to lay down on a bed of 3,500 real nails. After this, we headed over to the Imagination Lab, where my first stop was visiting Professor Wonder and his interactive story about Wonderworks. But on the same floor was the Great Impression, where you can leave your imprint in this giant wall or not. And there is also an opportunity to play out your dream of playing in a giant sandbox of the surface of the earth. and it actually morphs as you move the sand around, and also features these fun little dinosaur friends that pop up on your newly formed terrain.
What is that, a chicken?
And also in this area was the interlocking gears, as well as this giant light bright board. After the Imagination Lab, we made our way over to the Light and Sound Zone, which was actually kind of mixed in with the Imagination Zone. Here, there were a few fun exhibits that included the giant piano, virtual instruments that you couldn't see, writing with a light pen, and strike a pose, where your shadow will remain even after you leave. There was also this exhibit called Recollections, where the patterns on the screen matched your movements when you danced, but I don't know if it really worked very well, but it was still fun. But once you're done playing in Light and Sound, you'll come across the Space Discovery Zone that includes life-size replicas like this spacesuit that you can take pictures in, and an astronaut training challenge, which is a 2-person giant gyroscope, as well as a few other simulators. After the Space Discovery Zone, you'll come across the Wonder Art Gallery, which held a lot of unique art exhibits and artworks that were made from unexpected things, as well as some fun optical illusions like the Two Faces and the Spinning Cylinder exhibit. And I think one of my favorites was this giant hand that hung from the ceiling with a paintbrush. But there was even a Dr. Seuss area complete with taxidermy characters. If you make your way all the way up to the top of the stairs where the basement is, then you'll walk right into the arcade that holds a bunch of additional video games that you can pay extra to play. There's also a laser tag area and a 4D theater. And if you look above you, there's even a glow-in-the-dark rope course where you can scale up 36 feet into the air and try your hand at over 20 different obstacle courses. And at the end of the day, no great attraction in Orlando is complete without finishing it off in a gift shop. And I was pleasantly surprised at how fun this one was at Wonderworks. It was filled with, of course, your typical souvenir trinkets, but it also had some really fun science and space influence items that I loved seeing. I had a really great time exploring Wonderworks on iDrive, and even though I featured several attractions throughout the building, there were so many more that were really fun, but for the sake of time, I didn't want to include too many in this video. If you are thinking about heading over to Wonderworks, you'll want to allocate at least 2 to 3 hours to be able to explore the entire building. And they do say on the website that it does tend to get a bit more crowded during the peak season and on rainy days, so keep that into consideration. If you're looking for even more fun things to do on iDrive, then you'll have to check out my overview on a fun spot that just popped up on the screen. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have an amazing day and go out and enjoy some Florida sunshine.